We have been covering Commander Legends spoilers every day. This is the last video on Commander Legends daily spoilers we're going to talk about. We're going to post this week. We're going to pick back up on Sunday with today's Fridays and Saturdays and Sunday spoilers, kind of a weekend catch up. But before we go for the weekend and take a little bit of a break from the just absolutely incessant spoilers, we have an absolute nuts card to talk about. I can't even put words together, Jake, this card. I'm so blown away.
It's called Black Lotus. Video starts right now.
Special thanks to our Patreon supporters who power our channel. Check out our Patreon for monthly giveaways, exclusive content, and even a starring role in our fan fight series. Link in the description below.
For a limited time only, if you join the Patreon at any level, you will receive a holographic Jake and Joel Are Magic logo sticker. Link in the description below. Hello and welcome to the day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. If this is the first Jake and Joel Are Magic video you've ever seen, thank you very much. We're going to talk about this Black Lotus reprint is what I'm going to call it here in a second. But first,
exactly
if you would,
what it is for a specific card. Yep.
Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you like the video by the end of it. If it's your first Jake and Joel Are Magic video, maybe come back for a second one before you commit to that subscription.
They reprinted Black Lotus, dude.
Yeah,
I was just like, in my head, I was just like, kind of like putting it together.
This is not how our normal videos go, but we're both kind of taken back. Let's just taken aback. Let's just jump over to it. Okay, so we got this card. Y'all. It's called Jeweled Lotus. It's a zero-cost artifact. You tap it to sacrifice Jeweled Lotus, add 3 mana of any one color, spend this mana only to cast your commander. So
it doesn't get exiled. You can get it back from the yard.
Before this set was previewed, Gavin, the designer who tweeted this out, he said in an interview that there weren't going to be commander he couldn't promise that there wasn't going to be at least one commander staple printed into this set like Sol Ring, because people had expressed concern that, right now commanders like your commander, your Sol Ring, and then 98 other cards, and they didn't want it to be your commander, your Sol Ring, something from Commander Legends, and then 98. Something like Arcane Signet. Arcane Signet is really pointed at as being a mistake and something the community as a whole didn't like. So now we have a mythic Jeweled Lotus that is functionally a Black Lotus reprint just for Commander.
Yeah, for your Commander. Commander is easily the most popular format. At this point, if you're new to the game, just know that that's like the big eternal lifeblood, in our opinion, the lifeblood format of the game. It gives so many cards eternal value, eternal playability. So many cards that would have been fallen to the wayside have playability because of EDH. Players just simply love this format. Black Lotus, it's the most iconic card in the game. Everybody knows about Black Lotus. We've all seen one. Most of us will never own one. Until now, we do see a reprint of it in Commander Legends.
My energy is off. My brain is off.
It's just weird, dude.
I hope that this card isn't as good as it looks. That's pretty much my bottom line. We're gonna do some mind experiments here, do some mind exercises here, and try and talk about what this means. Legitimately talk about maybe possibly what it means for the future. But on a base level, Jake, my initial reaction to this is that I hope this card isn't as good as it looks, because on the surface, before you really start digging into it and talking about it's only one color, it's only mana that can be used for your commander, it can't be used for anything else. So once you cast your commander, it's kind of useless, quote unquote, maybe for a recast. But on the surface level, this looks nuts. On turn 1, you're going to be able to cast a 3 or less CMC commander. On turn 2, I have
4, actually, if you have a land.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
If you have Sol Ring,
you're right.
If you have Mana Crypt, if you have Sol Ring, Mana Crypt, this land.
Right. When you start combining it with other cards, obviously. But Jake, on turn 2, you have 2 lands, unless you ramped on turn 1. You're talking about the possibility of like a 6-cost commander on turn 2, and it just goes up from there.
If you had the right mana rock pile, you could get new Kamal online as early as turn 1 with this. That 8-cost Kamal.
Yeah.
So, if you have the right pile of mana rocks and artifacts, I think you could probably figure out how to do it with this. This is giving you 3 mana of any one color. So any mono color commander that's like 3 or more, this is turning that add-on. This is it's an incredible powerhouse of a card. It's already pre-selling at $150 on Card Kingdom. I'm sure that's a tester to see if those are gonna sell out. But Jake is
gonna do a finance breakdown of Commander Legends and booster boxes and collector's boosters and all that stuff in the coming days. But this, Jake, is the kind of card, without going too deep into it, that pre-sales of boxes, both types of boxes, just went up, are probably rising as we're shooting this. This is the kind of card this is the kind of mythic that puts a set over the top, and it's a brand new mythic. It's not even some crazy reprint that everybody wants to go chase as a lottery card. This is a brand new card. This is only going to be printed here for now. And so the pre-order sales of those boxes have to be going up right this second.
Yeah. I'll speak to that for a moment. I was going to make the Commander Legends video before even seeing this card, just based off of seeing Vampiric Tutor and the new Agent that came out that's going to be a Commander staple. We've seen some other cards that are great combo pieces. Cycle. We've already seen the lands. That's a big thing that you want to look for before you review a product like this, is you want to look at the land cycle to see, like, if you're hitting rare lands, is it something that's going to be good eternally? And then when you are hitting mythics and powerful cards and other rares, is the top end mythic Vampiric Tutor, until now Jeweled Lotus, that's a very good CEDH powerhouse staple based off of past collector booster boxes and how these products have worked. You have a pretty good idea of what you're going to get, but this does put an entirely different spin on the product. Now we have an artifact that slots into any deck. Vampiric Tutor was great. It's an amazing black card, but this card now slots into any deck. The desirability of it, I assume, is going to be out the roof. It's already pre-selling for $150. So if you open one of these, that isn't even the extended art or the foil full art extended treatment, or God forbid, a different variant art of this card, you're already opening a $150 card. Now, that's not saying this isn't going to be open in mass and definitely take a dive on price, and I do expect it to, but this is a card that once this set is out of print, I don't see how this isn't a staple. And I think you should talk about how they've already mentioned that there will not be a ban for this card, because I'm sure there are players that are like, no, this card is dead on arrival. It's banned right out the gate. It will never see the light of day as far as a game of Commander. It stands no chance. It's just here to push the product. But no, it's not getting emergency banned.
Question asked and answered. No, it's not getting emergency banned. We knew it was coming. They talked to Gavin ahead of time. They had awareness of this card coming in, and they chose not to emergency ban it ahead of time like Lutri got banned. They went further to say, while it's not getting emergency banned, you can be assured that Jeweled Lotus will be on our radar for some time. As always with picking up singles on the secondary market, you are responsible for making sure that you want to buy it and you know the dangers of it going in. Caveat emptor. So the Commander Rules Committee isn't banning it out of the gate. We're going to have to see what this card does, which is kind of funny, Jake. That makes me laugh a little bit. They're saying, we're not going to ban Black Lotus out of the gate, but we are going to keep an eye on Black Lotus out of the gate.
It is so pushed, isn't it?
So what does this mean for the future? We've got Jeweled Lotus right here, and this is 8 words away from being a reprint of a reserve list card. Now the doors are open. Let's get dual lands going that say you can only play this card if you started the game with more than one opponent. Let's make them legendary.
And they have to be searchable.
Yeah.
They have to be searchable.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Reprint Bayou, reprint Underground Sea, but just make them legendary, maybe. Make them legendary, make them have the word, you can only play this card in your deck if you started the game with a commander in any zone. Something like that.
Yeah,
at this
and
point,
the thing
go
is
for it.
The people who have the Underground Sea and the people who own Bayou and the OG duels, these are going to be people that are going to get to run both. So it's like, don't complain about it. You can still run both of the cards, but now there are going to be people that have access to like a budget version of a dual land that is specific to Commander.
My official
I don't think there's anything wrong with that either.
My official stance is that probably this shouldn't exist. Probably we should just, this is the danger, right, of designing cards specifically for a format that started as a grassroots format. You are going to fundamentally break the original thing that people liked about this format of making whatever you have available to you work, working with the resources you've got. Now, Now, I don't want this to be an old man yells at cloud moment for me. I just think that we have to be careful printing specific must-play cards directly into the format that is legitimately supposed to be a casual format. Yes, I know CEDH exists. I play it. I'm a part of that community as well. I'm learning. I'm a very new member of that community, and I'm trying to learn it. But this is supposed to be a casual format at its core, and printing staples directly into it is kind of a bummer, especially when this possible staple, I should keep saying possible staple, is a mythic rare and not a common or something, because honestly I feel like you have to pick this up, which leads me to the next point of maybe this isn't as good as it looks. It has to be one mana. I mean, it has to be one color. We were talking about, Jake, let's jump over here to the artifact themed commanders. According to EDH Shrek,
well, hold on really quick, because I want to say something about the card really quick.
Okay.
I do think it's kind of squishy, and it is restrictive, and it is very easy to look at it and compare it and say this is Black Lotus, and it is Black Lotus for your commander.
Exactly.
Not for instants, not for sorceries, not for enchantments, not for other artifacts, not for any other thing that you're going to possibly put on the battlefield. It is for your commander. And when you do think about that, like, yes, cool, you get your turn 1 or your turn 2 4 or 5 cost commander on the field, and your opponent is there with a terminate or just straight up removal. Now you've sacrificed this card. I think this is a card that CEDH players are going to figure out, and it's going to be part of their combo to pull things off and
100%.
have like a really explosive turn.
Yeah.
And I don't know how popular it's going to be in casual EDH, and that is yet to be seen.
Well,
and I think that's why they're testing it.
We're looking at Emery here, and right off the rip, Jake and I's first reaction to this is, turn 1 Emery with a 0 cost artifact. That is a recipe for shenanigans. But
and then you tap Emery, make sure you have it back on the field in case Emery gets removed.
Yeah, I guess that's what you do, right? When we really started talking ourselves through the turns, it does let us power Emery onto the battlefield turn 1. No ifs, ands, or buts. But, I mean, Emery's about casting artifacts out of your graveyard. You got to get some more stuff in there because
most likely you're casting Emery for 1 because of how many artifacts you have on the battlefield.
Right. So let's also consider turn 1 Urza. I mean, enters the battlefield, you're creating a colorless construct creature token with +1/+1 for each artifact you control. You can tap untapped artifacts to add blue. Honestly, I think Urza is probably the strongest turn 1 commander play that I've seen with it so far, simply because you could bring it back somehow from your graveyard and you would actually get value out of it as a 1
I'm sure
blue
someone
mana
can break down
rock.
like a turn 2 win with Urza based off of Jeweled Lotus, maybe. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, if you got, you can't use it to activate the ability on Urza. I mean, Psy Master Thopterus turn 1, who cares? Who cares? Any 2-color commander has the potential. But I mean, Golos.
Like turn 1 Golos, dude?
Well,
let's go, dude.
Soul Ring, Lotus, turn 1 Golos.
Land, Soul Ring.
Oh, now I'm kind of nervous because Golos is going to be further ramp on a deck that's already been ramping like crazy. Oh, turn 1 Golos, I think now is my favorite I've seen.
I mean, it's just like the thing is you enter, you get something, but then on turn 2, your Lotus is gone, but you do have a Golos and a Soul Ring. You're not going to have your colors to do anything with Golos's ability that early. So it's really just like...
Jake, I normally don't have physical reactions to cards. I'll go, oh, that's dope. I want that card. I want to play that card. But this one, I'm like...
It's like a sobering kind of feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, it's making me feel weird. This card is making me feel things, and I don't like it! Or maybe I do. I don't know. Maybe the card's good. Maybe the card's bad. Jake, the last thing I want to look at in the video, unless you've got any other points to make, and again, if you're viewing our channel for the first time, this is the most wild video I think we've ever shot. This is such an immediate reaction to one of the most visceral feelings I've ever had when I've seen a card get reprinted. And honestly, I might look back at myself in 6 months on this video and cringe like crazy because we're like, oh, that turned into be an absolute nothing.
What if they had printed medium Lotus and it was just the exact same card except for 2 mana?
Well, you're talking about one better than a Lotus Petal. So I wanted to look at this. Immediately made me start going, okay, is this card actually good? Well, let's compare it to the other 0 cost artifacts. This is exactly what you're talking about, but with untapped downside. You've got
Yeah, and the downside on Mana Crypt is pretty immense. In EDH, it's a lot less. I have actually in Eternal Masters won a draft after getting a Mana Crypt, but the entire game the card is like burning you down. But it is like Emperor Crocodile on turn 2, and like it's
that's what I'm talking
an absolute blast.
I mean, Chrome Mox is essentially just an extra land on some given turn. Not to downplay the how good an extra land on any given turn can be, especially for some decks, but it's 1 mana. This is a one-time use of 2 mana, but it is 0 cost, so this is the type of card that Emery of the Lock can really get nuts with. And then past that, we've got cards like Mox Diamond and Mox Opal.
Like, look at all of the downside that comes with Mox Diamond in order to get something that sticks on the battlefield. Like, you will never see something like Black Lotus that stays after you use that effect. Like, you can see even with Lotus Petal, getting 1 mana of any color comes with the sacrifice of the artifact. So even with something like Mox Diamond that's giving you 1 mana of any color, you have to discard a land card. If you do, you put Mox Diamond on the battlefield. If you don't, you put it into the graveyard. So it comes at the expense of a land, but the theory is that being able to ramp, you're going to be able to replace that land easily.
Like Mox Opal, you got to run artifact lands essentially to get this online as fast. And even then, maybe turn 1, if you drop artifact land, tap it into Soul Ring, drop Mox Opal, you have access to 3 mana. It's not tap and sack 4. At least this mana can be used on anything, I guess the only downside of Jeweled Lotus is, again, once your commander's on the battlefield, it is a useless card. And honestly, like, this is a card in your opening hand or in the first 2 draws, you're like, oh my god, yes, this is so awesome. My 10 cost commander is going to come down on turn 8 and it's going to be dope. If this is a draw late in the game, like turn 15, I don't know that I want to top deck Jeweled Lotus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it will help if your commander has been removed a lot, and it's essentially like drawing like a dark ritual to help you like kind of like get your commander back on the battlefield. So I do see it being helpful late game in certain scenarios.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is very restrictive. So we do need to kind of keep an open mind here before we pull out the pitchforks and go, oh my god, they're burning our game to the ground.
For sure.
It is a Black Lotus for one specific thing. Would we like it if it was just for instants? Would we like it if it was just for sorceries or just for planeswalkers? It's really hard. The commander is honestly a really good choice for a card like this because the commander is the most important card of your deck. It's the card that more likely than not you are going to want to see.
To kind of wrap this up, I hope that this card isn't as good as it looks. I do appreciate them exploring how to reprint some of the older, reserve list cards so that they can still be played while still honoring their reserve list commitment. Jake the other day was talking about how do we beat the reserve list? We print over the top of it and we just print cards that are so powerful we don't want any of the cards that are on the reserve list. This isn't quite that, but it is a step in a more realistic direction, I would say, because Commander's going to be the format driving the desire for cards like this, so print them specifically into Commander. It's like I said with the Battle Bond lands, this is a very elegant solution to the dual land problem, and I feel like making them searchable, you could take it a step forward like you were talking about. I just hope this card isn't as good as it looks. That's pretty much my point.
Yeah, let us know what you think about Jeweled Lotus. We want to hear about it. This is it's a very crazy thing that we're looking at here. Are you going to buy collector booster boxes for Commander Legends? If you're on the fence, there's a video coming out in the next couple days. I'm going to be getting it out to you. Is it worth it to buy that product? We're going to start to see a spike after we see big cards like this. Rest assured, there will be FOMO, but hold the line, stay strong. We're going to try to get you the best information possible.
Absolutely. Let's close the book on Jeweled Lotus. Thanks for watching. Like I said, we're going off format a little bit here and having an instant reaction to this card just because it was such an instant reaction for us. Stick with us. On Sunday, we're going to pick back up our set review. We're going to talk about all the cards we missed that aren't called Jeweled Lotus on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday spoilers. So we'll see you again Sunday night, early Monday morning for that video. Hit that subscribe button. Check out our Patreon. You know the gig. Jake, I'm tapped out.
Yeah, I need to just go kind of like do some yoga, kind of like decompress, center myself after this one, maybe go outside, look at the sky, draw a picture of a bird, send someone in my family a card, reach out to someone, call someone, think about those thoughts late at night as I'm drifting out to bed. The ones that get kind of depressing, but then you feel a little bit happy after you think about them. That's kind of where my head's at.
Perfect. Send me the audio file real fast.